Hello everybody, hey, how are you doing? Welcome to Old Style Classics Baseball Cards. Today's a special episode of Old Style Classics Baseball Cards. It's Old Style Classics Baseball Cards, pre-war baseball cards. And some super cool stuff that I got to show you guys. I've been waiting a while to show this cards that I picked up, I believe, on Tuesday after jury duty. Just show you really quick some of the stuff I picked up last night or recently. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share this stuff with other people who might like this kind of stuff. So this is more of a night for you pre-war guys. Hopefully you like this stuff. But before we get to that, let's show you some of the recent pickups we got. Yesterday picked up this from eBay, one of the Kimball's Champions 2011 Tops. I believe it's an insert set from Flagship, and that's super cool. Check that video out if you like. And I got the Andre Dawson 2012 paper framed card from Gypsy Queen. As you see there, it's $275 of $5.99. Alright. The other day we got the Larry Walker out of the Topps Big Baseball. And Ozzie Albies, Gypsy Queen, Indigo. Number 250, number 18. 2019 Gypsy Queen. And one of the cool things I picked up, which old style classic kind of card from Champs, Upper Deck hockey set. It's kind of an Allen and Ginter Goodwin champion hockey, and it has the historical figures in there with the presidents. Picked up 4 of the presidents from this: George Washington, George Bush, and Ronald Reagan. And I really like those Champs cards. Those are super cool. I really dig that. And then picked up some Turkey Red stuff recently, which will kind of lead sort of into what I'm going to show you guys tonight. So we got this Turkey Red autograph card of Zach Johnson. That's base card. So that's super cool. And those are 2005. So that's a year before Allen and Ginter came out, which you know is my favorite set. Then we got a red version. Same thing, 2005. Just wanted to have a different kind. That's Atkins. But the reds back then weren't numbered to 5. It's numbered to 475. So Garrett Atkins. Now, this next guy that I showed last night, I didn't know about some of the issues he had. You know, but still, it's a cool card, and it was pretty cheap to add it to my collection. And that was the box loader cabinet card, hand numbered 99 of 150 Turkey Red, same year. And that is Brett Myers from the Phillies. So you can see right there, he's got that pinstripe there, and some dirt and blood and spit and whatever still in that uniform. On card autograph, hand numbered, so that's a super cool card. I know he had some issues, I guess, but still made it into baseball. And all that was well, you can look it up for yourself and make your own decisions, but super cool card to have in the collection. It's nice to have something different, old style classic kind of card there. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to move into kind of what I've got to show you folks. And we're going to start here, work our way down. So as I've been showing you guys recently, I've been picking up some of these Obak cards from Tri Star. So right there's a Hack Wilson we got a couple weeks ago. Great Chicago Cub, Hack Wilson. These Tri Star cards are a reimagining of Obak, which was the Pacific Coast League cards from 1909, 1910, and 1911. So Tri Star came out with their own version of these in 2009, 2010, 2011. So 100 years later, and each year they did the same font design that they did 100 years previously. So this one's 2011, and that would have been the third and final set. Now Obak did baseball, they had a football set, and then I know they had insert cards in some of the other Tri Star products, like TNA Wrestling. So they weren't Obak wrestling cards, they were inserts that you can get in their wrestling cards. So, you know, like a variation, or like a hit. Alright, so that's the great Hack Wilson with his 191 RBIs, 1930. 56 home runs. Alright, so next, bear with me a second while I put these cards aside. Just picked these up the last couple days. This was yesterday. Hulk Hogan, TNA Wrestling, when he was in TNA, so that was out of the baseball set. So that's just part of the regular base set, which leads into this one, Hulk Hogan. That also comes from 2011, but as you can see there, that's the National. So the sports collectors, National Sports Collectors Convention there in 2011. So as you can see, it's a little bit different. Oh, that's something I noticed yesterday too, on that, I believe it was the Hulk Hogan card, that the mini had a different number than the big card. One of those cards that I was looking at didn't notice it at the time. Alright, so I believe I just showed that one. So there's the mini, Tobacco mini. So this is what the Obaks would have looked like 100 years ago. The Tobacco mini versus the more modern full-size card. Alright, now this might have been the card, so that's 106 on that card. These are both base set cards, and that one's number 40, 43, or 45, or whatever. Alright, sorry about that. It's number 45, so I guess they didn't have as many cards in the collection, in the minis I should say, as many options for that season. Maybe they cut back to save money. Alright folks, trying to find a place to put these cards when I'm done showing you, so bear with me a minute. Make some adjustments over here. Alright, and then more recently we picked up the Cap Ansons. Alright, the dryer just went off, thank God. It was pretty noisy. So I believe this is the base card, and this is from the National, same year. And it's got a little different card stock there. So the great Cap Anson, first player to 3,000 hits in the 1800s. So pick those up. And about a week ago I did pick these up. There's Stam Usual. Now Obak was the West Coast version of like T-206 cards, but they were for the Pacific Coast Leagues or minor leaguers at the time. So that's why you usually get them like in minor leagues, or not in uniforms. Obviously Tri Star didn't have a license, but anyways, that Stam Usual there was a base card, and then the rest of these I believe are all from the National Sports Collectors Convention. And that's all 2011. So as you can see, that's base card. You can tell how white it is. And these little darker ones are all from the National. So we got those. Now, unfortunately, I don't know where I put my Steven Strasburg National card that came out from the very first set, which is the one that's a little more, it's like green. It totally doesn't look anything like those, but that's okay. Then for my PC, I pulled these out. I don't think he has any minis. I know he has autographs, but he didn't have any minis. Now look at the difference in the fonts on these. So there's an Andre Dawson full-size card, and that would be the 2010 set. Yep. So that's what the 2010 looks like, just kind of that block font there. And then this would be the 2011, so that kind of Ohio, O, big on both ends and small in the middle. Ohio, round on both ends, high in the middle. Alright, so that's the Andre Dawson, and it's talking about his intentional walks. And that is also 2011, so that's base card from the baseball set. But like I said, you can see the difference in the spelling of Obak there, the different fonts. And so they repeated the same thing that was done in 1909, 1911, so on. Which will lead me to the first set of Obaks from Tri Star. So I pulled the Joe Bauman, which I've talked about Joe Bauman a lot, who had the professional record for home runs until Barry Bonds beat him with 72 in a season for the Roswell Rockets. Now here he's displayed on the Amarillo, and I talked about that story and how he was in that New Mexico baseball book. That lady who has the same last name as me wrote. She signed the book for me and sent me the original picture she used in that book, and I sent her one of their cards. And but this one here, read up about Joe Bauman, fascinating. That's one of the numbered ones, so that's a greenback. That's number 22 of 25, if you see down there. So I picked that up, and I do have the base and the full-size one of this. And fascinating story. It's the only authorized card of him that I know that exists is out of Tri Star Obak. And since I like that story, and because he played in New Mexico where I grew up, I picked up one of the printing plates for the Joe Bauman, and always get it backwards and upside down. So that's the purple cyan printing plate. So I guess this card is considered a purple. But that's 101 from Tri Star, 2009. So once again, you could see the different writing here, and that's what the original Obaks look like from 1909. And so that's sweet to pull that. That printing plate there was used to make this card. One of the plates to make this card here. And so I imagine the borders have nothing to do with it. It's just the inner part that gets printed on there. So because it's a little off-center looking at, the way it's cut, it's kind of a little rough cut off of whatever sheet they did. So I imagine they only print the inside part on the card, and then the rest of this is added after the fact. But that's super cool. So a full-size base card is mini base card, mini numbered card, and a printing plate. That's sweet. The great Joe Bauman, 72 home runs in a season. Bonds had to go out of his way to beat him. So now I'm going to show you some of the recent other pickups that we got from that. This is from the this one will be out of the football set, I believe. So as you can see, that Obak spelling there, that would be the first season of doing. Oh no, that's 2011. So But as you can see down here, it says football series selected from presidents. So Ronald Reagan there as a president. And yeah, so yeah, I'm looking at that wrong. That is the 2011, excuse me. But that's from their football set. And I also picked up from that same, this is from 2010. We picked up the guy who should be a Hall of Famer, Tommy John. So the first year was definitely all minor league stuff like Giancarlo Stanton, Buster Posey, and all their prospects. And then I guess they kind of moved into just doing, major league without the logos. There's Tommy John autograph card. So we've talked about him a lot in the last couple weeks. He should probably be in the Hall of Fame. Alright. Pause you for just 1 second, please. Alright, thanks, folks. Had to move some stuff around. Yeah, and I did not have that Steven Strasburg Obak card. It was a mini. It was like green and cardboard. It didn't look anything like those other Obak cards. It was put out at the National before they ever released the original cards from Tri Star. Okay, and then I want to show you this book here. This is called The Grand Minor Leagues. As you can see, those logos up there. It's different teams from the Pacific Coast League, but back in the day, back when these cards came out, like the 1900s, early 1900s, like San Francisco, LA, and Oakland, and all these teams. So this by Dick Dobbins. Yeah, I did pick this book up like I was talking about 5 years ago when I picked up that earlier, like a month ago, I picked up my first Obak card. It was graded. We got from that Lefty's card shop up there in Burlingame or Belmont or wherever up the peninsula by San Francisco. And I picked this book up 5 years ago, and it talks about when the PCL was like the West Coast version of the major leagues. So in it, it's got it was like $5, and it's got a story about each team and where they played. Like here you go, you got like Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, so it's got all this information about these people that played there, and a lot of stats and things about the stadiums and stories about the old PCL. And one of the cool things in there is they do show some of the cards that were available. So I believe like this here, these, some of these cards would be some of these Obak cards at the day, or whatever different kind of cards of these players that you can get back in the day. Like Joe DiMaggio and those guys started from PCL. Shows uniforms. See right there, there's an Obak card. So, like the Hollywood Stars, Oakland Oaks, and Tacoma Rainiers, and there's some more cards and pictures and stuff like that. So they still have some of these books at that Lefty's card shop over there. If anyone's interested in a baseball book, maybe you can get this off of Amazon or something like that. It's really cool, talking about when the PCL was kind of the West Coast Major League. So I paid $5 for it, I believe, and this guy has since passed on. I talked to the guy, and he had passed away a couple years before I bought this book. It would have been nice to pick up one that had a autograph, but not meant to be. And so there you go. The old Pacific Coast League was a major league in so many ways. Those of us who experienced it have indelible memories of its pleasures. We were very lucky. Dick Dobbins. Alright, so then, like I said, just a couple months ago or a month ago, I picked this up. This is the Stovall card, and that was my first Obak. I always wanted to have one. As you can see, they're very, very much like T-206s, but just from the West Coast. And they're T-212s Obak, so this is the first year. And this one is Stovall misspelled on the front here. And he is, can't remember his first name. I already forgot. I think it's Gypsy Stovall. And as you can see, this one is just a 1 marked. So somebody stamped it. And there you go. So it's got that old-fashioned Obak back. You know, so that's what those original Obaks look like. So in 2009, when they did Obak Tri Star, they went with the same design. And then the next year, when they changed this design from the originals, then they changed it on the Tri Star. So as you can see, same size, basically tobacco minis that we're all familiar with now. And that was my first Obak card. And even though I live here on the West Coast, they're kind of hard to come by. I've been here like 12 years, and I've probably only seen them like twice. And of course, at the time when I first saw them, I didn't have the money to afford one. They're not like super expensive, but to get graded like this, even on these low grades, you're going to be looking around $100 at least. Especially nowadays, since after the boom, as far as graded ones go. So that leads me up to on old style classics baseball cards. Let's readjust this thing here again. So now I don't need to show you like the book and some of the other stuff. On old style classics baseball cards, now you know me, I like loose cards. Now I do have another big card that I picked up from this lot. Now I got these at Stevens Creek Sports Cards, and these were the ones that he had that were loose, which I prefer. Now I'm just trying to organize these folks by year. Alright, now I prefer these loose. Now I did get another big card that is not an Obak card that I will be doing a different video on, so I'm not even going to show that one today. Let's see, I got these two over here to compare them to. Alright folks, so he said that he had sent a bunch off to get graded like the one that I had bought. Now I did buy this one at a different shop, but they do have some over there at Stevens Creek Sports Cards graded. I think they do, or they're getting them graded. Nevertheless, so there's the old Obak design. And so when I was over there, he brought up a stack of cards that were loose. He said they were just in too bad a condition he thought to bother sending in. Now the prices on here are what they were asking, but of course I got a discount, and I'll show you what else he gave me too. So now we're going to move on to the 1910 T-212 Obaks. There was 150 subjects, and I just kind of picked either the ones that looked best or that they had different teams, like a different logo. So I just wanted to have like the different teams that they had that were available in that stack, and some of them were a little more expensive, and I just kind of passed on those because I just wanted to have some. So I haven't even really looked at these folks since Tuesday. I looked at them just when I was going through the stack, but I haven't really taken them out or inspected them or anything. I've been waiting to do this on the video, so that's why I've been a little stressed. It's getting all this stuff from eBay. want to show you that, but I want to do this, but I want to be not tired and half asleep or just getting off of work. So these are pretty rough, folks, but they're still beautiful. I'm super happy with it. So here you go, guys. I hope you enjoy this, especially you West Coast guys. And here we go. So this one is a 1910 Barry from San Francisco. I love the old uniforms. Look at that. He looks like he must be a catcher there. And that was a $5 card. So let's assume that I probably paid like $4.50 after the discount, something like that. And that's the Obak Mouthpiece Cigarettes Distinctive Baseball Series, 150 subjects selected from Pacific Coast and Northwestern Leagues. So it's not just PCL. So that is the second year of Obak. And this is the second year of Tri Star Obak. These are 2010s. So this is that Tommy John one. But as you can see, the font is the same. They use the same, so the second year of these, they use the same design from the second year of those. So that's pretty sweet. Pretty rough. We could go ahead and take this one out. You know, it's pretty beat up, but it's just something nice to have. You know, it's seen better days, folks. Doesn't really smell like anything. Doesn't smell old or anything. But I like to have loose cards. I mean, why grade this card? I mean, I get it. You know, maybe this get an authentic. Maybe even a 1. I don't know. But that's just beautiful. I mean, of course, I would like to have it in perfect condition, but this card has a place in the world, and it's with me. I'm super happy to have that. This is the kid in me, the nostalgic me. This is what I love about baseball. I love these old baseball designs. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Like leather and the wool and those super cool hats. And I was just fascinated with baseball my whole life. And I always loved the pre-war stuff. So that's where I lean more towards pre-war, folks. And that's why on the old style classics, I like, you know, my modern players and my favorite players and on an old fashioned kind of card, just like these. So this is what cards were to me. These full size cards are, you know, born of the 50s, right? Mostly. And so it's just what I like. I mean, I know some people don't like tobacco minis, but I think it's super cool. It's just a throwback to what cards always were. So anyways, and so yeah, you gotta thank old Kimball and Alan Ginters and Gypsy Queen and all them guys, Goodwin and all that, for bringing that stuff back, because some of us love that. That's super cool. You know, of course, all minis are a little different. Every company, original Allen & Ginters are bigger than the new Allen & Ginters. But for the most part, that's sweet. So I'm going to put this back in this protective penny sleeve here, or whatever you call it, soft sleeve, excuse me. That card's pretty rough, people, but it's well loved, like an old baseball glove or an old couch. And I'm glad to have that, and I'm glad it's loose, because as much as I like having this, that's super cool, I like to be able to touch the card, smell it, feel it, get an idea what the cards were like back in the day. Like, you feel these are thin, not, you know, and then you feel like the original Allen & Ginters from 1887, which are super thick. So it's just, it's neat, it's tactile, it's texture. Alright, so that's card number 1 that we got, and they're in no particular order other than year. Number 2, Briggs So Sacramento. So there I picked a guy from Sacramento there, and I like that because it had that old school S on there, kind of like the D on Detroit. And it's just another team. Look at the size of the bat the dude's wielding. Look how thick it is down there at the bottom. Same thing there. So 175 subjects on this. So they must have had different series. Just assuming. And as you can see, I believe each one of these has a different little saying on it. So like this one says distinctive, and this one says Mas May is paper wrapper. And or it could be different league. I don't know. And it's so funny because they're so much like the T-206s. You know, with the whole factory thing and everything down there. So the back on this one is pretty bright compared to that one's pretty faded. But it's off-centered, as you can see there, and folded right down the middle. But that's super cool. I mean, tell me that's not a beautiful card, people. Something to be said about a beat-up card. Alright, then next we got another San Francisco player. $5, people. I mean, wouldn't you want to have that in your collection for $5? Really, $4.50. Browning, San Francisco. You know, is that San Francisco from 1910 in the background there? Obak mouthpiece cigarettes, just right. So I don't know if this guy's card, Browning, would always have the just right on the back, or are there variations? So who knows? Well, let me know if you know. Please leave a comment, like, tell me what you guys think of these cards. This one is just a cool uniform. And this is from Oakland. So the Oakland Oaks, I believe, for the PCL. So this other one said PC, Pacific Coast, PCL, PCL. So they've all been PCL cards so far. Same thing. Look at that card. I mean, yeah, it's rough, but that's awesome. Look, you know, centering's pretty good on that. You could probably get a 1 out of that, maybe. But look at that uniform. Isn't that awesome? Just love old-fashioned baseball. Look at his collar. He's got the upturned collar there. This one is Surpass Imagination. You know, these cards are now 100 and almost 115 years coming up on. That's awesome. Alright, next. So Los Angeles, so different uniform. Got some kind of building there in the background. I don't know, is that police station or whatever? But that is Daily from Los Angeles PCL. It's got a fold in it, but presents really well. Little off center, but not horrible. So there you go for you Los Angeles, you know, old school Los Angeles. Now this first guy, the Jesse Stovall, he's from Vernon, which is a small town right next to LA. And the reason they played in Vernon, not because of the population, but because you could drink in Vernon. And so they had a team there so they could sell alcohol. But then they were in Los Angeles there, so that one was 15 because it's in better shape. So I think I probably paid, I don't know, he probably charged me like 13 or 12 or something maybe. That isn't, now back to distinctive. So a lot brighter on the factory, that stuff down there. Number 171, 1st District Cal. So that's awesome. Another PCL guy. Didn't think to look for the Northwestern League or whatever. Here's another San Francisco. That's cool. It's got some Moeller San Francisco PCL. I love that hat. I like the color design, the dark blues, the pinstripe. That's a sweet card. The story in the smoking. So, just really cool cards. Just as good looking as any of those T-206s. Alright. Now then, this little group of cards was in that little stack that he showed me, and I was like, well, what's the deal with this? And he goes, oh yeah, these ones were in such bad shape, he didn't even want to bother trying to pull those out to sell them individually. And I was like, well, how much do you want for those? He goes, oh, they're free for the first person who looks at them. And I was like, well, I'll take them. He said, sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free cards. So yeah, you can see they're pretty beat up and rough, and I haven't taken them out yet, folks. So as you can see, that's some pretty nasty stuff on the back there, pinholes or who knows what, but free. So 5 extra cards just on top, just for the heck of it. So I'm gonna take these out for the first time for you folks and set this aside here, and we'll take a look at these each. Oh, I got a double. So this is Murphy with Los Angeles. You can see LA on his uniform there. PCL. So let's take a look. This one looks like it might have a stamp on it as well. It says Smoke Obak. So that's pretty sweet. And then we got another one. It's a little more beat up. Same one. See what it says. Smoke Obak. That apparently came out of possibly been glued into some kind of what are they called? Scrapbook. I'll try to keep these in the order they came out of here. So there's your fronts and there's your backs. But I'm glad somebody didn't throw that out, because that's cool. Does anyone else not mind having something like that in their collection? I don't. I'm super happy to have these. Alright, so that's 2. Number 3 here is Hilt. Now he plays with Vernon with the, so you got the little stadium in the background there. So who does that? HITT for Vernon. Love the little stadium there in the background. He's got a V on his uniform there. It looks kind of like a Y, but it's probably just the way his jersey's bunched up. And this is Convenient Sensible. So obviously these are 2010 still. Alright, next, that was 3. So this one looks like it almost looks like somebody took like some kind of stamp to, not a stamp in the sense, but like, you know, like one of those little paper things, like when you're getting your ticket punched. Yeah, it looks like some kind of paper punch there. Not sure who he is. Something. Oh, is this a repeat from the other guy we got? Let's take a look. Nope. We'll have to do some research on this guy to see who this is. But that's a nice looking front. You know, if you could get a Hannes Wagner that looked like this, I guarantee you'd take it. That one, the back's not too bad. Convenient and sensible. So, a little research, we can figure that out. I bet you would take that Hannes Wagner card if the front looked like that one. Alright, but still, that's cool. Neat uniform for San Francisco there. Look at that old school glove. That's cool. Alright, and the last one from this little set. Now I took it in the face apparently. Some kid didn't like this guy or something. So Jay Ryan for Portland. So at least we get his uniform and his bat there. And still, I'm glad to have that card. It didn't cost me nothing. And that's super cool. That's a piece of history there, folks. So those are pretty nice. For free. Can't complain. I'm going to put them back in this soft sleeve, though, to protect them. I don't know how much worse they can get off, but still. Alright, now we're going to move on to 1911, folks. So let me get my 2011 ready to go for you, folks. Alright, the next card is from Los Angeles, so the next year. That is Abbott from Los Angeles, PCL. Kind of that old school LA writing on there. 1911 T-212 Obak. That's a pretty cool card. Catcher. That's pretty rough. But see, now it starts to talk about him a little bit. Abbott has been catching ball a number of years, always been a good batsman and fine recoverer, is remarkably quick in throwing to bases, has a fine knowledge of baseball, and is young and good at studying young pitchers. So it's got his little stat line from 1908, 1909, 1910. Obak speaks in any company. I'll do the comparison on the next card since this one's pretty rough. I don't know if that's some kind of mold or something like there. Maybe a little Lysol or something on that would stem that flow. But that still presents well on the front. That looks good. Yeah, I mean, it's just a beauty. And I'm not going to show my other pre-war stuff with this like I normally would do. I'll probably do another video where I show this other card that I picked up, and maybe I'll pull those things out and do a third video where I do another pre-war showing. Alright, look at this one from Victoria. So this, alright, so I did get something at least from the Northwest League. That's cool. Householder of Victoria, so that must be in Canada, maybe. Unless it's in Washington, I don't know. That'd be cool if it was a Canadian team. Look at that deep red burgundy. That also is a $5 one. So that's super cool. Nice to have something, you know, Northwest League, so not just all PCL. And here we go. So let's read about Householder. Householder outfielder has made a big reputation by his terrific hitting. His left-handed batter and hits hard to either field, a good fielder, and very aggressive in his work. So it looks like he played 1908, 1909. Doesn't have any 10 stats there. So 320 at bats, 90 hits, 281 percentage. I believe that's what that would probably mean. So Obak speaks quality in any company, and so here's the 2011. This is the Ronald Reagan one from the football set, but we're mostly looking on that Obak font there. So good job for Tri Star. You know, the backgrounds are a bit different, a little more Field of Dreams-ish, but they do a really good job. And I mean, you know, they're just filtered stuff. It's not like a painting or something like these are probably more drawn or something like that. I don't know how they did that. I believe it's lithograph, but I think Obak did a really good job. They made it their own, and I wish they would bring it back. You know, like it'd be cool if they did it like every 10 years or something like that, or did inserts in some of their other products that they do. But I love these kind of cards. This old historical thing. I mean, you get to learn about players you've never heard about. You know, you don't always have to be just Major League Baseball players. Love baseball in general, minors and all that stuff. And like I said, some of these leagues were as big as the major leagues out west because they just were until the Giants and the Dodgers moved. This is what you had. And Obak did a good job. I think it was a neat idea that what they did, especially that first season when they were showing all those people in their minor leagues like Stan Musial and Buster Posey, like on the San Jose Giants over here. And I think they had the minor league license for that one season. And so they did a good job, and I really enjoy those. You know, there we go, Stan Musial there. You know, background's a bit different, but still pretty solid. Oh, there, I got another Cap Henson. That's right, I ordered two on accident. You got your wrestling. That's a throwback to Allen and Ginter's and like Ogden's through the years and Goodwin champions and all that stuff. So, hey, look, people, it's my wife.
Hello, people.
Lucky you guys. And so there you have it, folks. These are the, look at the color scheme's the same. Hey, that just happened to be the same design year. So let me give you just a little bit of a hint about the next video we're gonna do. So let me take these out of the screen for just a second. This will be a first for me, folks. Now do y'all see what that is? A little bright. Dagnabbit. Alright, so there's your little hint about the other big card I got. And it's going to be a pretty cool one, folks. It's a first for me. And it's cool because of who's on it. So, anyways, good job, Tri Star. I think they did an excellent job of doing these Obak cards. And it's neat to finally be able to have some of this stuff in my collection. So, started with Tri Star, picked this one up, an original first year Obak, so I'm happy to have that. And then, boom, all this stuff, people. I mean, so these all would have added up to $55, and I think he charged me like $40. So to get all those would have added up, like I said, to like $55. But as I said, probably charged me $40. And threw in these 5 free cards to boot. So that's pretty sweet stuff, folks. I'm stoked to have that. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and we'll come back at you with something a little further east. And I need to do a video for that Rick Vintage Oddballs Mangini little stumping VR that he's got it going on. So tough is, I just don't want to drown out this video with those videos. So I'm gonna have to do that sometime this week. And I got another big card coming from my checklist, hopefully this week. Hey everybody, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Do you think this was worth the 40 or whatever I paid for this stuff? Well, it's worth it to me, so I enjoy it. Thanks for watching Old Style Classics baseball cards, and take it easy. We'll see you later. Bye.